It's that time of year. Time for the best places to live in London 2024. And once again I'm joined by my digital assistant, Donna.
Hi there. I'll explain the criteria that the Sunday Times used to select the winners. Community, how the residents interact.
No, you don't have to read these criteria. We're going our own way this year. We're not following the Sunday Times list in 2024.
That's a bit arrogant.
Here's a new list.
So what's wrong with schools and internet speeds? How the Sunday Times did their list?
Well, nothing, but we decided that the Sunday Times way was a bit, well, bougie. If you haven't got little Tarquin and Jemima to educate, and the sheer number of coffee shops in an area leave you quite neutral, we thought that the following were important. You can read this, Donna.
How welcoming the community is, both in person, and having dedicated social media groups to join. How easy it was to get around and into town by public transport. How nice the look of the place was. And how near the local parks are to take your dog for a walk.
Okay, let's get on with it.
10.
Number 10, and you don't need a passport. It's Pimlico.
Often overlooked, Pimlico is a gem of a neighbourhood, and the only part of the Southwest 1 postcode which is actually affordable. And while you can pay top dollar to buy a house, renting is a lot more affordable in this leafy, relaxed area tucked neatly between the Thames and Victoria Station. Locally there's a quite spectacular Regency Cafe where folk come from miles around and actually queue for breakfast. Of course there's more traditional fare. And telephone boxes. And markets. This is actually Tatchbrook Market at the pedestrianised end of Tatchbrook Street. During the working week it's a street food location. Of a Saturday there's more of a focus on traditional market fare like fruit and veg. Culturally, the Tate Modern gallery is here on the bank of the Thames. Oh, and it's on the Victoria line with some groovy platform lighting.
So, you've chosen a top 10 out of the 1,000 locations in London. Why is Pimlico number 10 in this list, and not number 1?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Despite the river nearby, there's a lack of green space in the area, and there's a lot of traffic congestion, particularly near Victoria Station. Otherwise, all good. So what's next?
It's a place that the Sunday Times made number 1 in 2023.
9.
It's Crouch End.
It may famously not be on the London Tube, but Crouch End has good public transport connections with several bus routes and nearby train stations. There's a village-like atmosphere with a strong sense of community. There are various events and festivals throughout the year. There's a thriving arts and culture scene like the Art House Crouch End, with various studios and galleries. It's attractive to young professionals and creatives due to its laid-back vibe, and so there are the inevitable coffee shops. But also there are many green spaces nearby like Parkland Walk, Highgate Wood and Alexandra Park. There's an interesting mix of architectural styles including Victorian and Edwardian properties.
The Sunday Times made that their top place to live in London in 2023. You made it number 9 in 2024. What gives?
Rising property prices and rents are making Crouch End increasingly expensive to live in. Do you think it should be higher in the list?
You want my opinion? What do I know? Have you ever considered that this is simply digital ventriloquism? Let's get on with number 8.
8.
And it's Greenwich.
Famously, Greenwich houses the Royal Observatory and the Prime Meridian line. It's also home to the historic Greenwich Park, a vast green space with stunning views of London. There's a rich maritime history with attractions like the Cutty Sark and the National Maritime Museum. Greenwich has a vibrant town centre with a mix of chain stores, independent shops, cafes and restaurants.
Yikes.
And the excellent public transport connections include the DLR, trains, buses and cable car.
Next year I'm moving to Greenwich. I don't know what I'll do in the meantime.
That was lame. Greenwich can be crowded with tourists, and it's a bit of a middle-class island. Otherwise it would have been higher in the list.
You've done it again. This next one was Sunday Times winner in 2022. Have you no spark of originality?
I'll explain afterwards.
7,
Sitting atop one of London's highest points, Crystal Palace enjoys a privileged perch overlooking the city. From these lofty heights, the views are stunning. The bustling heart of the community centres around the triangular one-way system formed by Church Road, Westow Hill and Westow Street. This vibrant hub brims with pubs, eateries and independent boutiques. Vintage fashion reigns supreme here, especially on Sunday mornings when antique shops and stalls spill out onto Church Road's pavements. The original Crystal Palace burnt down in 1936, but its namesake park remains a treasured local gem, renowned for its towering dinosaur statues and the National Sports Centre.
And your critique? I'm dying to know.
Some parts of Crystal Palace might be hilly, and this can be challenging for walking and cycling.
That's it?
I don't have to disagree with everything that the Sunday Times writes, though I do disagree with most of what the Sunday Times writes.
This is no place for politics. On with number 6.
6,
And if it isn't me old mucker, Hugh Grant.
Along with Camden Town, Notting Hill is perhaps the most famous community worldwide in London. Portobello Road Market is known for its antiques, vintage clothing and street food. The Notting Hill Carnival is Europe's largest street festival. There's a rich cultural heritage and history with a mix of Caribbean, European and other influences. There are good schools, both state and private, and it's well connected by public transport with several underground stations and bus routes.
I guess we need a downside to Notting Hill. Though if I may add, featuring in the movie of the same name has done nothing for the cost of housing. It's now one of the most expensive areas in London.
I'd like to add one of my bugbears too. Gentrification. Gentrification creates a two-tiered system, the prosperous newcomers and the low-waged and left behind. Older residents can't afford to use their own high street, where a single coffee costs the same as a round of drinks once did, not so long ago.
We're halfway through our list and you've become a bit opinionated.
Shall we return to the list?
Yes.
5,
And it's Richmond upon Thames.
Richmond offers a village-like atmosphere while still being well connected to central London. It has a rich cultural scene with several theatres, galleries and museums. There are good schools, both state and private, making it a popular choice for families. It's home to several historic buildings and attractions, such as Hampton Court Palace and Ham House. Richmond Park is the largest of London's royal parks, and it's known for its wildlife and natural beauty. And Richmond sits gloriously on the Thames, offering scenic riverside walks and boat trips.
Penny for your thoughts?
I'd easily put Richmond higher than 5 but for the aircraft noise. It's on the flight path from Heathrow Airport and planes can be every 90 seconds at some times.
I like Richmond too.
But you can't really count as a separate vote, to be fair.
True. 'Tis a lonely furrow that I plough.
Don't be over dramatic. Onwards?
Upwards.
4,
It's Clapham Village.
Clapham Village is located north of Clapham Common, a large green open space popular for sports, picnics and events. It has a vibrant nightlife with numerous pubs, bars and clubs, and there's a wide variety of restaurants and cafes catering to different tastes and budgets. There's a diverse population and a strong sense of community. It hosts several events, such as the Clapham Common Music Festival and Winterville. There's a wide range of leisure activities such as the Clapham Picture House Cinema and Clapham Leisure Centre. There are excellent transport links too, with 3 Clapham tube stations and several bus routes.
While that Clapham package was running, you shouted the word bougie out loud.
I love Clapham Village, but its nightlife is rather dominated by young professionals in their 20s. And if you're not that age, evenings in other areas might be more to your liking. Otherwise it's great.
I can't help but notice that we've reached the top 3. Let's take this low-hanging fruit offline.
Donna, you've gone corporate speak.
Sorry, let's circle back on that.
3,
It's Clerkenwell.
Clerkenwell boasts a rich history and architectural heritage, with many Georgian and medieval buildings. There are lovely green spaces like Clerkenwell Green. It's home to several design and creative industry firms, giving it a vibrant creative vibe. There's a good selection of traditional London pubs, and it's near to popular attractions like the Barbican Centre and Sadler's Wells Theatre. And Clerkenwell is well connected by public transport, with several tube stations like Farringdon nearby.
Clerkenwell was voted into number 1 place to live in London 2024 by the Sunday Times. You seem to disagree.
No real issues. Apart from Sundays in Clerkenwell, they're dull. They're dull. Nothing is open.
Perhaps you weren't looking hard enough. Excitement is mounting. We're up to number 2. Where could it be? Where could it be?
2,
Wow. Walthamstow.
Blimey, Donna. Walthamstow Market is known to be Europe's longest outdoor street market. Meanwhile, Walthamstow Village is a charming area, with historic buildings, independent shops and cafes. It has affordable housing compared with many other parts of London. And there's a vibrant community with a strong sense of local identity. There are good transport links with the Victoria Line and London Underground. And there's a proximity to green spaces such as Epping Forest, Lloyd Park and the Walthamstow Wetlands. Locally there's a thriving arts and culture scene with the E17 Art Trail and the Walthamstow Garden Party.
So?
Nothing wrong with Walthamstow at all, but we preferred the place we chose for number 1.
Without further ado then,
1,
it's Dulwich.
Dulwich may be completely surrounded by London's suburbia, but it has retained a charming village atmosphere. There's a remarkably low crime rate compared to some other parts of the capital, and abundant green spaces including Dulwich Park, Bel-Air Park and Dulwich Wood. Many other green spaces are nearby, like Crystal Palace Park and Brockwell Park. For the richer amongst us, there are excellent independent schools. Dulwich College, James Allen's Girls' School and the Allen School. Dulwich Village is right next door to the East Dulwich area with its independent shops, restaurants and bars. West Dulwich, the other way, is also worth exploring. is not on the London Underground, but Dulwich is very well connected by public transport, with several train stations and bus routes.
So you've got nothing bad to say about Dulwich?
Well, as with all areas, there are some downsides. The area's popularity has led to increased traffic congestion on local roads, and trains can be crowded at rush hour. But that's about it.
Anyway, I've gotta go. I'm auditioning for a job as a train announcer.
What?
This is a District Line train terminating at West Ashfield. How about this one? If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. Say it, see it, sorted.
It's see it, say it, sorted.
Sorted. Say it, see it.
Well, good luck with that.
Please mind the gap between the train and the platform shoes.